right, welcome to Go Vertical Unfiltered. This is a new format where I want to share my thoughts, especially those where I'm kind of unsure or that are just new to me, and to get you involved into the process of discovering new things all around athletic performance training, running faster, jumping higher, all the good stuff, all that we're doing here. And yeah, basically to show you this developing process of new habits, new ideas, new technologies, things that I just discover constantly every day. And I want to start this with a thing that I discovered a few days ago, where I was laying in my bed. It was quite late already and I couldn't sleep. Sometimes, I guess most people have that every now and then. And when I have that, I feel like I don't want to waste time and just lay around in bed when I can't sleep. I sometimes grab my smartphone and just watch a few videos. Sometimes YouTube, sometimes some things about to gain knowledge about sports, about athletic performance training, about anything, sometimes for entertainment reasons. And I think on that day I was just watching a documentary about South Sudan, I think it was, about the situation there in that country. And I was laying on my right ear and having the smartphone in front of me, like on a 90-degree angle. And I somehow realized that I was just watching with my left eye. My right eye was closed. I was like this. And then I thought, because I switch sides every 3-4 minutes because it gets somehow, I don't know, boring or whatever to lay on one side, so I move around. I don't know, for the neck, it just feels better to change the position. When we're sleeping, we're changing positions constantly, all night long. And yeah, when I'm watching those videos, I do that too. And when I changed, I thought, okay, maybe it's because my right eye was closer to the pillow, to the mattress. That's why it was closed for some reason. And then, but when I switched, my brain, my body wanted to do the same. I again closed my right eye. Although I was laying down on the left ear, and just my left eye was open. So I was just watching the video with my left eye, without intention, just naturally. I realized that. And funny thing is, my dominant eye, there are a couple of tests, you can Google them, how to find out what your dominant eye is. Anyone can do that right now. It's easy. There are some few easy tests how you can find out what your dominant eye is. And my dominant eye is my right eye. So I was wondering a little bit, what is the reason for that? And some things I am researching right now, and I'm working a lot more on right now, are eye movements, neuroathletic training, where the eyes play a very important role. Sometimes I mention life kinetic, if you know that. If you don't know that, you should maybe look at that, where you're really training your eyes, your visual system. And it must be important for athletes. Like, imagine running a 100-meter sprint blindfolded. You could not do that. Like, your eyes are constantly giving you information about what's around you, and you have to train them as an athlete, especially when you want to go into high performance training, into maybe being a professional athlete. You definitely need that. And I was wondering, why am I doing this? why am I closing my dominant eye? And I had the idea that it might be the reason that I do it because, like dolphins, they they never sleep, of course, because they're in the water all the time. But one half of their brain is sleeping, while the other one is relaxing, and they can kind of do that. Like they are switching this all the time, and I felt like part of my brain was already relaxing, and the rest of my brain was still like working, and especially my dominant eye was kind of switched off at that time, and that gave me the feeling that I was already relaxing, although I wasn't sleeping. And I think that's a very interesting thing. And I didn't really sleep a lot in the rest of the night. Like normally, I need about 8 hours. I know most people are somewhere around 7 and 8 and a half or something like that. Some people need 9. Some people are okay with sleeping 7 hours. I don't know if that's genetics or whatever, but for me, normally 8 hours is kind of the sweet spot. And at that night, I slept about 6 maybe. But I was awake. I felt good, although I was like watching this documentary for 45 minutes or something, and I didn't sleep a lot. I already felt like I was relaxing by that time. And yeah, that brings me to the thought how smart our brain it is, and how important the eyes are, and how all of us should consider training our eyes. I must admit, I'm not too deep into that. I spoke a little bit about that in my Go Vertical Raw podcast with Leon, with Moving Monkey. It was interesting, and even after our podcast, we spoke a little bit more about it. I know a few athletes who are training by the neuroathletic system created by Lars Lienhard. But as I said, I'm not too deep into that, and this is something what's on my bucket list for this year, to look it up. But just the fact, what I discovered, and that I realized how smart everything is, and how maybe even sensitive, and what our body is trying to do. And yeah, the importance, I think, the importance of the visual system, of the eyes. I think that's the big thing. And that was kind of a hint for me to really think more about that, and to implement that maybe into training in the future. And the implementation process for me is always, first I try things out on my own, and sometimes just for a week or a few days, and then I give my athletes small bits, how they react to it, so I can continue practicing a certain skill or a certain movement or whatever on my own. And also, yeah, I just got cut off a few moments before the end. So what I was about to say is that I see my athletes that I train with, and also myself, so I have different results, and I can compare them to see what is working for certain people. And I think that's a big part of how to integrate new training ideas into the training. And with that being said, thank you for listening to this new format, and see you very, very soon again. Cheers.